It's difficult for my eyes to not be drawn towards those 4 dancing green arrows. And the next thing my eyes notice is the dreaded red socket. 16 legendary and set items in 40 minutes, and these are all strictly from running in the new random dungeon finder. In my opinion, this is the best implemented new addition to the game in perhaps ever. Now, that isn't diving into some of the issues that players may have regarding systems like random dungeon finder and how it might ruin the immersion or detract from social interactions. What I mean is, I'm yet to see any bugs, crashes, or failures to do what we've been told the system will do. There's even a nice new feature showing you how many dungeons remain before a pity set item. Speaking of social interactions, out of the 9 dungeons I ran, there were 2 instances where anybody talked. Both times included members that were actually in the same clan. One said hi as they queued separately and got into the same dungeon, and the other were running as a pair and one was leaving. These queues for me have been under a minute, and often practically instant. The gameplay you're seeing is all between 7 and 8 a.m. server time, which I reckon is a popular time to log on and complete your 3 daily dungeons, which this system does count for, by the way. I imagine there are some slower periods, and I've heard upwards of 5 minutes for queues, but that still seems tolerable for most, and you can farm between them, so I don't see that being a major issue. The system, which can be accessed through the menu and then selecting Party Finder, followed by the random dungeon option, is simple to use, and this will slot you into a group that's looking to fill, giving you a higher chance at valuable set items. The benefit for the others filling the group is the bonus chest, which now opens automatically, gives them a better chance at loot. So, although the individuals that are filling get the better end of the deal, there's still benefit for those without full parties to fill. Also, keep in mind that difficulties are now lumped together for dungeons as well, so whether you're in Infernal 1, 2, or 3, you can all get put in the same party and clear it for the chance at rewards. What's interesting is I didn't see many whales using the system, and I imagine that's because the pilots are yet to have the instructions for using the system passed along, but I don't think it'll take much longer for that to occur, and soon the average clear time will likely drop, making the system even more appealing. More players benefiting secondhand from cheating means more runs and more loot. So, without further ado, let's identify these and see what we got. Because the question everybody wants to know is, does the new random dungeon finder even matter? Are we going to find a noticeable increase in the amount of 3-socket necks, belts, or boots? Will our rings have blue or yellow sockets depending on our personal preference? My first upgrade is the same combat rating, solid 31 more willpower and 22 intelligence, plus an additional 1% chance to critically hit. The best part of this piece is I can trade a cursed property for an invocation, and I do plan to use borrowed time on this character for PvP, so there'll be benefit from this particular one. I'll take it. It's an upgrade. Second piece, and I won't call this an upgrade yet, again, same combat rating, higher total attributes since it's a triple, but I lose 170 vitality, which I'm not real happy about. I lose 1.5% beneficial effect duration, which is pretty crucial to the build I plan on using, especially as free to play. And since recording, I've actually removed this piece and gone back to the old one, since it also adds 4% reduced damage while crowd controlled, aka always, as opposed to the other piece offering 1.5% increased life, which again on free to play is fairly minimal. It's difficult for my eyes to not be drawn towards those 4 dancing green arrows, and the next thing my eyes notice is the dreaded red socket. Overwhelmed with disappointment, I read the tooltip anyways, and sure wish I hadn't, because this ring has vitality, intelligence, willpower, and I would have preferred fortitude for one of the offensive stats, but alright. Damage to shielded, skill cooldown reduction, and reduced damage from players are all just fine for me. Overall, a solid ring that I'll replace at the very first opportunity when another ring for any set with any stats that has a socket of any different color graces my inventory. Are we starting to see the actual issue here? This was 40 minutes to do the runs, then some time to identify and compare. Let's say 45 minutes total. I'm yet to do dailies, clan events, or literally anything else in game other than click red dots that appear. I'd love if you would leave comments mentioning how much time per day you have to play this game, and whether you feel the random dungeon finder is a solid use of your available time compared to other options in the game. The interesting part for me was the only actual worthwhile upgrade was a random legendary that dropped during the runs, and not even a set item. What are the expectations of players anyways? Do you expect an upgrade per hour, per day, per week? This all seems subjective to the individual. Personally, I'm not upset in the slightest. I had a lot of fun doing the random dungeons, which had a decent variety and even included the new dungeon. With the pity drop being reduced to 7 dungeons, I think it's great. You can run a chunk of dungeons and cross your fingers whenever you have free time to do so. What I'd really like to see is some sort of method to cash in on the worthless drops for something more useful, like spend 20 wisps to craft a ring with a specific socket color. I mean, we're crafting it after all. Can't we be in control of the outcome to some degree? 25 wisps for a triple stat, and the list can go on, of course. Short story, more crafting options than just entirely random. Random dungeon finder, random set items, random attributes, random sockets. Overall, nothing negative to say about the new system or its implementation. Just hopeful we'll continue to see some nice quality of life changes. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.